Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Developers. I am your host, Connor Okus, and today we've got my friend Steven with me, and we're going to discuss BIP21, unified QR codes, payment requests, Bitcoin, and Lightning. So thank you for everyone tuning in with us. Who have we got in the building so far? I think we've got the Shore. We've got Pavlenex as well in the building. Thanks for joining, guys. I think before we kick off, we like to learn about where people are tuning in from. So if you feel so inclined, please let us know where you are tuning in from. But I think we are actually competing for people's attention at this time and this week actually. So I'll actually use the opportunity to show an awesome project that's going on. That's been going on since what we today Thursday, since Monday. So let me share my screen quickly here. Um, we have the Alt Fun Shop the Web Hackathon that's been going on since March 22nd and it's finishing on March 28th. And I'll just read a little bit of the blurb here. So, Shop the Web is a 7-day virtual hackathon bringing together Bitcoiners to promote, explore, build, and design web applications that can interact with WebLN enabled wallets and browsers. During the hackathon, we'll be hosting guided sprint modules for your product team, workshops, and talks, as well as ongoing mentorship from some friendly Bitcoin developers and designers to help you along the way. So if you're a builder, if you're someone who enjoys building for the web and wants to integrate Lightning into different types of projects, I definitely recommend you checking out the Bolt.Fun hackathon. Shout out to Johns Bahari and the rest of the Peak Shift team. I heard there are some teams working on the future of co-working bookings via Lightning. Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, maybe they should win.
There's some prizes up for grabs as well. First place $1,600. Um, and if you go over to bolt.fun/hackathons/ shock the web, you can check out the schedule and the calendar. This is a really interesting initiative, and from what I'm hearing, I've tuned into a couple of the talks myself, and got some heavy hitters being represented at the hackathon as well. People with a lot of knowledge in the space, a lot of people who are hands-on and deep working on Lightning, especially in the web context. So here are some of the names. So judges and speakers, you've got Michael Booman, who does the Albi Lightning browser extension. We've got John Cavallo, CEO of Synonym, Christofano, Roy Shenfield from Bree. So some really prominent names there, some world-class quality builders. So yeah, if you're interested in web Lightning, hacking away at stuff, feel free to jump in there. So yeah, we might like I said, we might be struggling for people's attention because this is some super exciting stuff. But nonetheless, we'll see how we go today. So let me stop sharing my screen and introduce you to today's guest. So we have Steven with me today. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. So we're gonna do some stuff around BIP21 URIs, and we'll explain all of that stuff a bit later. Um, just before you introduce yourself, I do want to let the people know that you are the man behind the scenes, behind the graphics and the branding and the visuals and the annotations and the music and all of that good stuff that makes this stream what it is. So just want to thank you publicly for all the help. And yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
let the people know a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Steven. I'm a designer slash front end developer. These days I spend most of my time working in the Bitcoin design community. I'm a Spiral grantee, and my kind of main project was adding Lightning to the Bitcoin design guide. We've kind of hit that milestone, but we're continuing to um, add more Lightning content and try to improve the usability of the guide and make sure people are aware of all the resources that the Bitcoin design community is putting out. So yeah, I mean, I guess I've been, I know you usually do the backstory with the guests and all that. I got started. I think I first heard about Bitcoin about 5 years ago. Um, was instantly fascinated by that, and then kind of spent many years just really just studying the whole space, just trying to kind of like wrap my head around everything that was going on in crypto. And I kind of just, ultimately decided that I wanted to zero on and just focus my attention on building stuff for Bitcoin. Um, and I kind of have more of a graphic design, web development, like agency background, designing stuff for tech companies like videos and websites and stuff like that. And so I was freelance for a while, and I discovered the Bitcoin design community, and kind of was able to take my skills and background doing agency work and freelance work and kind of apply that to Bitcoin. So loving work every day. Getting to work on Bitcoin's super cool. And aside from the Bitcoin design stuff, I co-organize the Atlanta Bit Devs with Michael Tidwell, where we're trying to kind of basically kind of like our mission there is to just encourage more people to get involved in open source and to get involved in Bitcoin. So we want to try and create like a support group for people like who want to work in the industry or want to make open source contributions, to where they can come and learn and be supported in pursuing that. And then we also do a conference in Atlanta every fall called TabConf, which is kind of an extension, an unofficial extension of our BitDevs meetup, I guess. But it's a developer focused Bitcoin conference, where people can kind of self-organize their own programming called villages. So that's what I got going on right now. But today we're here to talk about BIP21 URIs and user experience.
Yeah, fantastic. And I definitely view you as a jack of all trades and a master of all trades to some degree. So, like, can you highlight a little bit about some of the projects you've worked on? So you mentioned the Lightning integration into the Bitcoin design guide, but you're working on a whole host of stuff and have been over this kind of like last year, 18 months. You want to touch on one or two more of those things?
Yeah, sure. I have a bad habit of getting involved in a lot of projects. I think like starting off in the design community, I helped out with like the LDK website and all of that. That was like a big group project with Christoph and Pavlinex and Patricia and several. I mean, so many people contributed to that one. I can't even remember all the names at this point, but a lot of people did. So yeah, helped out with like kind of the LDK, BDK website redesign project. Did some work for Zeus, mostly just focused on like the art and logo and all of that. Bosch is the UI powerhouse on that project. What else? I'm honestly trying to remember. Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I knew there was like something big I was missing. Because that's Hello Bitcoin is Connor's project. Connor and Matt and Carolee's project. Kind of friendly explainer video series to introduce people to Bitcoin. Hello Bitcoin. It's like hellobitco.in, I think is the address.
Yeah.
But me and Liam did several motion graphics for those videos for video 3 and 4. What else? I think those are the main ones I can think of. And I guess just I do odd jobs around the community whenever people need something. I guess the kind of latest thing that I've gotten involved in is this kind of Bitcoin QR initiative, which we can get to in a moment here.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. My doorbell keeps ringing. So if people want to find you, is Twitter a good place if they want to follow along with your work and stuff?
Yeah, Twitter's a good place. And then if you like long form blog posts, which few people do these days, but if you do, you can go to my website, which is, I'll spell it out for you if you open a new tab.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
So it's the letter D.
Yeah.
And then a period.
Yeah.
And then ELOR.
ELOR.
Dot.
Yeah.
ME. I thought I was being really clever by making a TLD hack of my last name, but honestly, it just confuses everybody. But here we are. So, but yeah, that's my blog, and I blog about user experience stuff related to Bitcoin. So, got stuff about Lightning, El Salvador, all kinds of stuff. So I update that whenever I have a thought that can't be expressed in a Slack message or a tweet.
Okay, fantastic. And you've got the Atlanta Bit Devs Twitter as well and Meetup site as well if people are interested and are in that area. Cool.
Yep.
All right, so I'll stop sharing just for 1 second. So we're gonna do some stuff around BIP21 URIs and unified QR codes, and all of that sounds like really scary. So maybe do you want to like set the scene for us and outline what it is we're gonna try and do today?
Yeah, so I guess it'd be good to just kind of start with like the problem we're trying to solve, because I think any good design is you're trying to solve a problem for somebody. So the basic gist of the problem is that like you've got Bitcoin on-chain transactions and then you've got Lightning transactions, and this can kind of confuse people a lot. For those of us that have been in Bitcoin for a long time and have kind of seen Bitcoin grow and seen the Lightning network emerge, the difference might make sense to us, but it's not necessarily intuitive. You pull out an app and you want to send somebody money, or you want to send an email, or you want to send a message over a chat program. You're not necessarily thinking about the underlying protocols that are at work in order to send that message. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people these days probably have a very blurred distinction even between the web and between apps, because there's so much overlap. Sometimes you open a website but it's within an app, or sometimes you have an app and a website that looks identical. So sometimes you're on a website and you click a link and then it opens it up. So really people, I think users don't like thinking about protocols, and you can't expect everyone to think about protocols. So you got a situation where you have on-chain addresses, you got Lightning invoices, you got some apps that only accept on-chain transactions, you got some apps that only accept Lightning transactions. Then you have some apps that accept both on-chain and Lightning. And you put one of these interfaces in front of somebody, and the typical way of solving it when you have a wallet that's on-chain and off-chain is that like you put like a little tab or like a little toggle that lets the user say, oh, switch this to an on-chain thing or switch this to a Lightning. And everyone's tried to come up with so many ways to simplify this. Like, well, could we call it something other than Lightning and on-chain? Like, could we call it Lightning and Bitcoin? But then do they think Lightning's a separate coin? Or could we call it a payment versus a transaction? But that confuses people just because of the way that those terms are used in different languages. There's not an easy answer, and that's kind of the general like problem that we've been trying to get at here. And I'm not sure exactly like where this emerged from. Like I always say, I heard it from Johns and Pavlinik's first, and from Steve Lee, and I'm sure it may have even come from someone else before that. But it's basically this idea that we can use this piece of technology called BIP21. For anyone like who's watching who's not aware, a BIP is a Bitcoin improvement proposal. So you got this this BIP from 10 years ago. I mean, this thing was written in 2012, and it's this proposal that basically forms a URI for Bitcoin payments. And like, again, for anyone who's not familiar, the URI stands for Uniform Resource Indicator, which is kind of like you say, like a website, like URL, Uniform Resource Locator. The concepts are pretty similar. So like when you look at a website and it's like https://twitch.tv/Bitcoin developers, that's a URI, and the protocol is HTTP. It's the web. Well, you can also have a Bitcoin URI. That's a BIP21 URI. And instead of saying HTTP, it says Bitcoin : you see apps like this all the time. I think there's even like Twitter : yada, yada, yada. So this is BIP21 just fits in with this whole internet idea of you have a URI that, tells, apps and services what you're trying to access. In this case, you're saying I'm trying to make a Bitcoin transaction. And the people who wrote BIP21 were smart and forward thinking, I think. You read through the BIP, and if you have it handy, actually, this might be a good place to share it on screen. I can actually paste a link in the chat for
the actual BIP. Yeah, I can. I posted it in the chat, and then I will pull it up here. That's a good
so like
good shout. 1 second.
they they kind of outline the structure of how a BIP is supposed to look and all of that stuff. And so like if you go down here, like the motivation is something like able to make them make payments by clicking links. So that was the original motivation. And I think what's probably going to make most sense to people is if you scroll down further, there's a section about like some examples that just shows like different. Yeah, perfect. So like the simplest one is Bitcoin colon, and then you put the Bitcoin address. And then you see they expanded it on the line below that, and they put an optional parameter, and they give a label, and they put somebody's name there. And then on the line below that, they expanded it even further, and they put like question mark amount equals 20.3. Wow, that's a lot of Bitcoin. So you can keep doing this, and the way they wrote it in the spec is they kind of anticipated that people's needs are going to change over time, and that people are going to want to do different things with Bitcoin in the future. So let's let the BIP be flexible so that we can do more things with it in the future. And so somebody came up with the idea of why don't we put a Lightning invoice in it? And it's like, because you can put all of these optional parameters in there, the spec basically says that if a Bitcoin wallet reads a BIP21 URI and it doesn't understand one of the parameters, it just ignores it. Simple as that. So they're like, okay, what if we just put a parameter that says Lightning? We put a Lightning invoice in there, and then you've essentially got a URI that contains an on-chain address, a Lightning invoice. If an on-chain wallet scans it, they'll just ignore the Lightning invoice. And the kind of the next step in that line of thinking is a Lightning wallet could feasibly scan the invoice, ignore the on-chain address, and accept the Lightning parameter. Or a wallet that supports both on-chain and Lightning could read both of them, and then maybe it makes a decision about makes kind of a decision on the behalf of the user, like using the Lightning one is cheaper and faster, or maybe it prompts the user with a decision. There's different ways of handling that. But the idea is that this could make it much simpler to where people don't have to think about this distinction between the two. And kind of the barrier to wallets trying to implement this is that not every Lightning wallet supports this. Like most on-chain wallets support BIP21, but not all Lightning wallets do.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like, let's say you're the first Lightning wallet to decide to bite the bullet and say, we want to make BIP21 URI QR codes. To make everything simple on our users. Well, if half the Lightning wallets in the world don't accept it, then you create this friction with your users that people are your users are going to be creating BIP21 QR codes, and the people that they're trying to get money from can't read them, and then you got sad users. So the idea is like we've kind of started this initiative where it's like, okay, let's see if we can just get everybody to accept scanning this QR code, just to try it out, just accept scanning it. Once we get to a point where a lot of different wallets and projects are supporting scanning it, then a wallet could decide if they actually want to implement generating BIP21 URIs. So that's kind of the point of this initiative we started, and we've started this website in the Bitcoin design community. Several of us have collaborated on this site called bitcoinqr.dev. And it's just kind of a website that outlines like a lot of what I was describing there.
And I guess for people who are maybe either new and maybe don't have as much experience with QR codes and Bitcoin transactions, this is what the visual representation of this is. On the left hand side you have a BIP21 URI with a Bolt11 invoice, and then on the right hand side is what is a potential for a future where you have a BIP21 URI code with a Bolt12 offer, which means the QR code can be a lot less dense and easier to scan, and comes with a whole host of other new bits of functionality. And like here is a visual representation of like the standard QR codes that you would see in most wallets now. So a BIP21 URI with just an on-chain address, and then a Bolt11 invoice, which, as you can see, is a lot more denser than your typical Bitcoin address. So go ahead.
I was just going to point out that, if you see that whole URI scheme we were just talking about, Bitcoin : you'll see that in the there. And so like if you go above like to the other ones, you'll see it in the top ones too. And you see it starts to get a little bit long because you're including a lot of data in there. Now, having said that, that QR code isn't near, it's almost as long as the Bolt 11 invoice on the line below, but the Bolt 12 one gets a lot shorter. And so another kind of thing we have to worry about is if cameras on mobile phones are capable of scanning these things. Because sometimes older devices, they have trouble with that really high density QR code. So part of what we're doing is trying to test wallets for compatibility. And if you scroll down further, they'll see that kind of outlined the flow I was talking about for like how a wallet should, kind of like the logic that a wallet should follow. You know, if it recognizes Lightning, then it should follow the S path and, you know, attempts to parse the invoice. But in terms of testing, we have this whole table, like, it's a support table here. And we're kind of like just soliciting the community for people to test wallets, services, exchanges, you know, anything that's going to involve like scanning a Bitcoin QR code. We'd love it if you'd help testing some of these services for us. And so we got like a column there. One, we're just testing, can the wallet scan the QR code? Like, is it capable of reading the QR code without throwing an error? And then the next column over is like the Lightning column. If it's a Lightning wallet, can it recognize the Bolt 11 invoice inside the QR code? And the next column over is, can it create its own BIP21 QR code, which is all no for now. I should say, I don't think any wallet in the world actually supports that. We have a column there for that, just for the future if people actually do start supporting it. And we give you credit if you test something. We give you credit linked to your GitHub or Twitter. And also, if a wallet doesn't support it, like say Bitcoin Beach, they don't support this feature yet. So I went and opened an issue, and I put a link to the issue right there. And they seemed pretty receptive to the idea. So if somebody doesn't support it, you can just go to their GitHub repo and just talk to them and start a conversation with the developers about it.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a nice format to that, a bit of background, like you say, some steps to replicate, and additionally some screenshots, of course, are always helpful. It looks like there's some Nicholas has replied already, so that's awesome. Just to veer off very, very slightly, like this is a fantastic way, in my opinion, to showcase what issues might be arising as it relates to UX, and outlining some of those solutions and trying to galvanize people around this idea and getting lots of people involved. So definitely commend you and the community for that. Would you say like this is a good model for developers and designers who want to tackle very specific issues, but might feel that either there's not enough people helping to champion that cause, and this might be a good way to help to kind of put their thoughts forward and put proposals forward? I know obviously on the more developer side, we do have like the bit process, and similarly with in Lightning as well. But in the UX space, it's not always so clear, right? So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it absolutely is. I mean, I guess we'll see, like, if this whole thing is a success, and if wallets actually start implementing it. But I'd say the feedback I've gotten from it so far has been pretty positive, and I've seen a surprising good bit of engagement. We've already got several people opening issues and pull requests to update this website. And I do think it is a good one, because BIPs are good, but sometimes the Bitcoin ecosystem has grown now, I think, to where there's a lot more stakeholders now than there were 10 years ago. And sometimes with a campaign like this, you can also talk about, like, you can explain it to people in a way other than just like the technical specification over. You can have a conversation about like the value that it's going to provide for people and all of that. So I mean, I think this could even potentially be a good topic for a good way to express new ideas on the development side too. Is just kind of having more of like a campaign site for it. Now having said that, obviously, things on the like Bitcoin core development side obviously have to go through a much more like rigorous level of testing and engineering acumen than we have to go through on the UI side of things. So there's always going to need, I think, on the development side to be that level of rigor and technical review that we come to expect from Bitcoin engineering. But definitely, I think the idea of just like not waiting for people to come to you and just trying to like push your message out there and start a conversation, even if the conversation fails, just get the conversation started.
Yeah. I definitely want to kind of shield that role as well, like whether it be in design or in something like you described that's maybe a bit more rigorous, a bit more strict, like Bitcoin Core. There's definitely a place for someone who maybe can work with a developer who maybe doesn't want to do the pushing of their ideas, but their ideas are fantastic, and help them cultivate a narrative and a story around their ideas, which would can help facilitate conversation and push those things forward. So like there's definitely a place and a role for someone who's good at that kind of thing. All right, cool. So that's a lot of background and a lot of good context there. So where do you want to go with this next?
Well, maybe we should start testing some wallets, and we can get you to update the website.
Okay, let's do it, man. So let me stop this screen share and tell me what I need to get up. And
so I guess the main thing first would be to find a phone and a wallet that nobody's tested yet. Or even if the wallet has been tested already, we can still test the device that you're using for compatibility.
Sure. Okay.
Or I guess just for the quality of the camera and all that.
Okay, let me just get a browser up. All right. So what wallet do we want to try and test out today? I did have a look at the list, and a lot has been tested already.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
There's a couple of exchange wallets that haven't been tested, but I don't know how much that matters. Like we're trying to focus on non-custodial anyway.
Let's see. I wonder if
we could, like you say, we could maybe do one that's already wouldn't uppercasing improve readability. Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I can talk about that a little bit. No, I don't think so. Or I guess readability.
I'm not sure readability, but I have heard uppercasing reduces the density of the QR codes, though.
Yeah, so that's a complicated topic. So basically, it depends. When you're using a straight Bolt 11 invoice, it does actually improve. It actually reduces the size of the QR code. I believe BIP22, if I'm not mistaken, is like the encoding mechanism. And I don't think BIP32 uses any, BIP32 creating more efficient QR codes than BIP32 does. Yeah. So the problem, so BIP32 doesn't actually use any uppercase letters. So you can uppercase the QR code without actually changing any of the data that's inside of it, right? So totally safe to uppercase BIP32 is the reason that you can take the QR code and you can make it smaller is because there's different settings when you're generating QR code, and there's a special mode called alphanumeric, which it only does numbers and letters, and it treats all letters as equal. So it treats uppercase and lowercase letters as equal. So it includes numbers, uppercase letters, and like a handful of symbols. So if you're just doing a BIP32 string, you can encode it as uppercase, and the QR code will be generated as alphanumeric. The size will be drastically reduced. The problem with these BIP21 URIs is that we have all this extra data. So it's like question mark amount equals 500 sats and ampersand label equals so and so. And the problem is that the ampersand isn't included in the alphanumeric spec for QR codes. So if you want to include a BIP21 URI and it has like multiple parameters to it, you wouldn't be able, you could uppercase it, but it's not going to give you any cost saving because the QR code can't use alphanumeric mode because it needs to use the ampersand. So if you want to derive cost savings from uppercasing the Bolt 11 invoice and a BIP21 URI. Wow, that's a mouthful of technical terms. If you want to get an actual reduction in size of QR, you have to make sure that you're only using the Lightning parameter and that you don't have an amount parameter or a label or a memo for the on-chain. So if you're willing to make that trade-off, you can absolutely uppercase
caveat,
it.
Yeah.
But
that's
if
a
you want,
good nuance there. Yeah, that's a good nuance.
And if I'm mistaken on that, please somebody correct me. I don't want to like spread wrong information, but I have looked into this, and as far as my research has indicated, that ampersands are not included in alphanumeric QR code spec.
Okay.
But thank you for bringing that up, Ablinix. Now, in terms of what it improved readability, I think you must have missed scannability. Yeah, so that's fine. So, anyways, what were you going to say, Connor?
No, I was just going to say, it's a good, very nuanced point that shouldn't go. It shouldn't be ignored. And I think you mentioned as well that like the actual Lightning parameter has to be the last parameter in the URI to be recognized. Is that true, or is that just from what you've been testing?
That's what I've learned today. I honestly did not know that until today. Because I kept wondering why sometimes I would generate these things and they would work, and sometimes they wouldn't. And I did some fiddling around, and I realized that the Lightning parameter has to be the last thing in the URI string, and the only reason, like, what seems to happen is if it isn't last, the wallet scans it, and everything that comes after the Lightning invoice, it like tries to parse as part of the invoice.
Interesting.
So I really want to start a conversation with more developers about that and see if that's like expected or like normal behavior, because ampersands aren't part of BIP22. So I really just feel like a wallet should be able to be like, it's reading. Oh, I've hit an ampersand. This must be the end of the BIP32 string. So I don't really know why that's the case with the Lightning parameter. I'd love to hear from some Lightning developers about why that's the case. But for now, that's what it seems to be.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again here. Just share what do I want to do? My screen. Yeah. Okay, cool. So well, let's jump back into trying to test some of these QR codes now.
Yeah, so I've already tested on an iPhone XS and a Samsung Galaxy A12. So I'm hoping that you have a device handy that's not one of those.
So I've got iPhone 11, I think this is.
Perfect.
All right, so
three camera doohickeys on there.
It does. No, 2. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. So I thought that looks like 3.
Oh no, it has got the 3. It has got the 3 on my phone.
So you got 11. You got a different one. All right, cool. Yeah, so that way you'll be testing a new device. I'm sure it's going to work wonderfully because it's an iPhone, but let's test it to verify these claims.
Okay, so should I use this QR code that's on the website?
Yep, that will work just fine.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pull up the Phoenix wallet. So, and then I will just click send. So it just looks like this basically. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna scan, and I get a message saying invoice has expired.
Then it worked.
And I get a message: invoice is expired, and SB designed for lunch Tuesday, as like the little memo description type of thing.
Looks like it pulled in just fine. So that invoice is expired.
So just walk through what just happened there. So I scanned the BIP21 URI. It errored, but the error said the invoice is expired. So it must have recognized that there was a Lightning invoice as part of the QR code, but it errored because it's expired. And because it's a Lightning only wallet, it's not going to do a Bitcoin address fallback. Yeah.
And I think they do accept on-chain with it, but it's like it's kind of not. I think it's more used as a mechanism for like opening your channels and kind of funding your wallet. It's not really like a primary feature of it. They kind of see themselves as a Lightning only wallet.
Yeah. So. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and show you.
So in that case, we say Phoenix supports BIP21 URIs.
Mm-hmm. And I can show you how to submit an issue for this as well.
Okay.
I think if you just click the file and issue button, or in that little blue link, it should be right there on the,
Oh yeah, file and issue.
And I tell you what, why don't you go back, just click on the issues button. I need to update that link.
Click on issues.
Yeah. So there's now, and then hit new issue.
New issue.
Cool. So there's these forms we can fill out now. We want to make this easy for people to get involved with this if they're not totally comfortable with GitHub code updates and all that. It's got some choices here. Submit a device you've tested, submit a wallet you've tested. If you click on the submit a wallet you've tested, just hit the get started. This would be the form you would fill out if you wanted to submit Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix is actually already, I think it's already on the website. Let me see.
Yeah.
It is.
So yeah, I think it is right. So if we go to the table at the bottom and
they're in alphabetical order.
Yeah. So Phoenix is here. Okay. It's already tested by yourself, and yeah, it's got support for BIP21. So interestingly, most of the ones that don't, from what I can tell, are exchanges. I guess some of the exchanges haven't actually been tested, have they actually? So
exactly, we got question marks for those.
Yeah,
but
all right.
So if you're on the issue, you can just fill this out as though you were going to submit the issue, and we won't actually submit it. But if the top, it says wallet test, it's in brackets. You could just put Phoenix in there. Okay. It says app name. You'd also put the name of the wallet there. You put a name of the website or a link to their website, just so that if we need more information, we can track it down. Okay. For scans BIP21, in this case, because it actually read the QR code, you would select yes for that one. On the one below that, recognizes Lightning. In this case, you would say yes because it recognized it. If it was an on-chain wallet, then you would choose not applicable because it's an on-chain only wallet. And if it just completely, if it is a Lightning wallet, but it failed to recognize the invoice, then you would hit no. Create BIP21 for now, we would just choose no or I don't know. That's going to be the most common one for now. And then there's a place where you can type a description about, if you got an error message, let's say, if it hadn't worked for you, you could type in what the error message was here. Can you leave a screenshot as well in here? Does it allow for that? Or I think so. I think so. Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, it's just a standard content box. So I think you should be able to. Yeah. I don't think we have a room for the screenshot, or we don't have a room for the screenshot on the website. But we can definitely accept the screenshot so that we can look at it. And then if you hit the back button, we can actually file an issue for the hardware you tested. So submit a device you have tested. Yeah. Okay, so wallet test. So I guess it's just the Phoenix wallet. And then in this case, for this one, I'm really looking for. Oh, does that thing still say wallet name? Wallet test. Oh, I need to update that to say hardware test. My bad. I'll fix that later. Okay. But just in the description there, just put a iPhone XS or iPhone 11, whatever the name of your phone is. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No brackets or colons are needed. Hardware name. So again, just put the iPhone 11 in there. Yeah. Hardware website. We can. Apple, you don't have Apple.com. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This probably isn't as important for Apple devices, but it's handy to have if somebody's using some obscure Android phone people aren't familiar with. Yeah. So scans BIP21. Did the wallet successfully scan that? Okay, cool. Yes. And then optional description, describe what happened, for example, if your scan results are mixed. Okay, I think we can probably leave the description there, but. Yeah, because it seemed to work on pretty much flawlessly for you, right? Yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay, cool. So then you submit a new issue. Submit a new issue. And then it will now show up on the issues page. So now you see it automatically assigned to me so that I can update the website for it.
Okay,
But here,
cool.
if you're down to dive into a little bit of code real quick, I'll show you how to update the website.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, what is the repo for the website? Can I find it
Yeah,
on here?
you're on it. If you just go back to the other tab and just
Oh,
click
this is
on
the
this,
actual. Oh, okay,
and
cool.
then for code, yeah, get the address there.
Let me grab a terminal real quick here. Go into my projects folder and just clone this. And then cd into that. Right, cool. Let me make this full screen and a little bit bigger. All right, cool. So I've cloned it. I'm in the repo now.
Okay, so I think.
Do I need to? Oh well, I cloned it. Should I have forked it, or it doesn't really matter too much? It doesn't really matter, does it?
I guess actually, you probably should have forked it.
Yeah,
I'll
let me
just
do
give
that.
you. You know what? I can just give you write access to it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, everyone else can fork it, but I'll just give you write access to make this easier.
Oh, all right, cool. No worries.
Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't think that. Sorry.
Oh, good. So I'm going to go to do special security stuff, collaborators, but everyone else fork it.
Yeah.
I can't give everybody right access. Okay.
Yeah, I get special privileges.
Yeah, you get special privileges because you're the robot from the LDK video, so
yeah,
you get special
exactly.
privileges.
Yeah, facts, big facts. If you don't know what he's talking about, head over to the Spiral YouTube channel, and you can watch me taking a role as a robot as we explain the next generation SDK that's going to be the catalyst for Lightning wallets all over the world.
Yeah, I put it in the private chat for you.
Okay, let me copy on this window so it doesn't. Okay, accept invite. All right, cool. That's accepted. You can now push to the site. All right, cool. All right, so I'm cloned. I can push directly to it. What do I do now?
Let's just get the packages installed. I think just npmi would probably take care of that. This is a Next.js React site, so it'll kind of compile into a static site. Oh my goodness, one high severity vulnerability. So now npm run dev should start your dev server.
And then,
hey, it looks like it worked.
Does it automatically open a browser for me?
It doesn't, but I think the address is giving you localhost 3000. All right, looks like it's working.
So now I've got a local instance of the site pulled down.
So now to add your hardware to the site, you're kind of tackling your own issue here. So, you don't really need to file an issue if you're just going to update the site yourself and make a pull request. But I just wanted to, show everybody all the different ways you can contribute. So awesome. You'll now need to open up the site in whatever code editor you prefer.
Okay, let me...
Are you going to be a badass and do it in Less or Vim?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I don't understand how people use those things, to be honest with you. I don't have such skills, but I'll use VS Code for now.
I can make small changes in Less, but I haven't wrapped my head around Vim yet. I can't do it.
I know. Tell me about it. All right, I'll just save the project as well. All right, cool. So I'm in VS Code. I've got the project open in VS Code now.
And then, so in your situation, you're just going to edit the hardware support.json file. The wallet support one is the one you would do if you were editing, adding one to the big, does the wallet recognize the Lightning and all that. Okay. But for your purpose here, the hardware.support is the one you'll focus on. And so you'll see this first object that I have there. It's an iPhone XS, and then there's an array inside of that, and it's here's all the apps that I tested on the iPhone XS.
I see. Okay.
Sometimes there might be a situation where certain apps function differently on the same hardware. So, I mean, there's no way we're going to test every single app and hardware combination in existence. But, if we can, get a couple of different tests and different scenarios, that'll help round out the data a little bit better. So I think for your case situation, you can probably just collapse the hardware, like the first brace on line 2.
This one.
Yeah, and then you see the next one down, I tested a Samsung Galaxy. So maybe for your purposes, you could just copy and paste that whole block. So like from line 46 down to line 65, you could copy that.
Yeah.
And then put then basically you're just changing the data to match.
How do I collapse? Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So yeah, first one, let's see. So we just got iPhone 11. I guess I can quickly check. Do they even still sell iPhone 11? Let's see. iPhone 11. Yeah, let's go with this. Let's go with this. No. Link to iPhone 11. And then the software. Okay, so I want to. This is what I used to scan the QR code. Yeah.
Yep.
I always forget this. How do you spell Phoenix?
PHOENIX. And I think they have kind of a funky URL. Let me find it. It's like, I'll paste it in the chat here.
It doesn't let me copy it, but no worries. I'll just type it quickly.
I see. You can't copy paste from that one. And for the record, Pavlinix, if you're still here, scannability isn't a real English word. It's just one that I somehow made up during this process. So no worries.
Let me make sure I've spelled that right. Cool. Scans, yes. And then maybe I might be able to leave this. Let's see what this comment says. So it works very good. It's capable of reading the QR from a surprising distance. If the QR takes up a quarter to a half the width of the screen, it will take a second to refocus. Okay, I didn't do all of that. But
why don't you
just say for now, it works very good for now.
Yeah, I think honestly for the iPhone XS, I was just like, works perfectly. That's all I put, because it worked perfectly. I felt the need to make some distinction when I did the Android one, because I've had much more mixed results on different models of Android phones, so I felt like specifying it more. But no, for the iPhone, it's like camera's ridiculous on this stuff.
All right, nice. So so that's the JSON file updated now.
And then let's make sure it looks nice in the browser when you go.
Yeah.
If you saved it, it should auto update.
Let's see here.
Should be under the software table.
Let's see. Software.
There you go.
Here we go. Yeah.
iPhone 11.
Awesome. iPhone 11, software tested, scans, description. All right, nice.
Well, we make sure the links are good before you submit it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
All right, that works.
Nice. You go to Phoenix. Scans. Let's see if it goes to my GitHub as well. Oh, there I am. Lovely.
Well, Pav's here testing wallets, doing his part. Good stuff.
Awesome. Nice one, Pav. I'm here testing wallets, doing my part. Love it. Team effort, team Bitcoin. If you're watching this, feel free to start testing wallets right away. Well, how about desktop wallets? Does this include desktop wallets as well, actually?
Well, it depends. If the desktop wallet could scan a QR code, that's the main thing about it.
Yeah,
so,
I guess, yeah.
Not a lot of them do.
Not a lot. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But what some people are doing is, they're testing like BTC Pay Server and stuff like that. And obviously for now you would just, it can't scan, but the criteria for that would it be able to generate one or not? Yeah. Somebody was reaching out to me. Somebody reached out to me today and they said that the OpenNode API is actually generating these now, which is real cool. So I want to talk to them and get them to submit a PR. So that they can take credit for that find. So we definitely can test desktop stuff. We just have to remember the kind of nuance. Like for those fields, for the scans and like the first two, the scans and the lightning, I'd probably put NA. because not applicable. Like it can't scan at all because it's just a desktop font kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. So we've verified that it's all on the site and looking lovely.
And
links are working.
You can submit a PR if you like. Just
right,
for like, just because I'm going to be like anal about this, it would be nice if you could do a branch just to keep things clean. But it's a very tiny change. But
yeah, let's do it. If I can spell, what shall I call this? Just iPhone. Let's call it iPhone 11 test or something.
Yeah. Cool. And then if you want to push it, you can push it.
Let's do it. Just add all the things. Git commit. What nice Git commit messages have you been? Just added
iPhone test, something like that.
Yeah, cool. And let's push the thing. I've got to set upstream. And then I can create a pull request.
Sweet.
Cool. And hopefully the boss lets it decides to merge it and that time didn't go to waste. But no, okay, that's pretty straightforward.
Hey, shout out to Pavlinix. He's testing. He's got a test for
has he got pull request open as well?
He's got a pull request open for iPhone 8. This is awesome.
Look at him go.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and merge Connors just because oh wait, let's see. Yeah, that's sorry, I was looking at your issue. Let me find where is your PR. There we go. I did iPhone 11 test.
I see. Okay, yeah, this is Pab's issue he's just created. Nice.
And so
BTC Pay server.
So something is a little bit running like slow on I guess somebody's server because we're not getting the like Netlify automated deploy preview. But I think I'm just going to YOLO merge this right now because hey, it looked good on your machine. Confirm merge. And in a couple of minutes, we should see it live on the website. It might take a minute for Netlify to reprocess everything.
It's usually pretty quick, to be fair. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. What happens if I go to status.netlify.com? Maybe.
Let's try a little refresh, see if it's picked it up yet. Not quite.
It's okay. Hey, I'm gonna review some other.
Yeah, well, I mean, while that's updating, is there anything else we can maybe move on to, or
another thing we can.
Is that everything we need to do? Did we need to round up with anything else, or?
I think that's about it. Like I said, anybody can get involved in testing if you have a service. Like I said, exchanges would probably be a good one to move on to now, especially considering some exchanges you need to be located in certain countries or whatever. So exchanges would be a good one to test, or like exchange wallets, exchange apps, that kind of stuff. But for now, we could move on to we could look at like actually how to implement support from like a code and a UI perspective. I'll show you one thing real quick. There's a repository that you can for helping out with this stuff called BIP21 Lightning that I made. Actually, you can get to it from the Bitcoin QR website. So if you go down, there should be a section under how to implement support. So there's two links there. John's is working on one. Oh, you're right there at the bottom. Yeah. So John's is working on one called it's his company Peak Shift, and they're trying to build like a package, like a node package that you can implement. So definitely check out what he's working on. I'm not entirely sure personally, like what the state of it is. Like I'm not sure if it's like ready for production or not. So you'd have to reach out to him and ask. But just for the purposes like proof of concept, I did this simple thing called QR code generated for testing, and if you just clone that repo real quick on your local, we probably don't even need to get into VS Code or anything like that for this.
I can close these down now, and looks at home. Oh no. Yeah, okay, git clone. Cool, cd into BIP21 in. All right.
Then just run npmi in there.
Yep.
And you should be good to go. So if you go back to the README file on GitHub, just for anyone watching, like the way you would do this is you run this command. It's real simple: npm run qr, and you would copy and paste that and put like whatever your amount, the name of the recipient, the description, on-chain address, and lightning invoice in there. Obviously, replace anything in the little arrow things with your values. For the purpose of today, I'm going to send you something in our private chat that has all of that filled out for you.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, hold on. There's like a stray comma or apostrophe that I think in the chat, it looks like my extra apostrophe did. No, it's not done. It truncated it. Why don't you go to?
So I can go to, yeah, the Google Doc. I don't know where it is. 1 second. Oh yeah, no, I've got it.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I want it from here.
And this thing is totally like, this isn't like ready to implement in your app, but it's just a proof of concept of how something like this would work.
Okay, let's try this.
So you see Connor's got this command now, npm run qr. He's got all of his, he's got an amount. This is like 10,000 sats. There's the name of the person, description, on-chain address, and really long Bolt 11 invoice. And just to verify, we need there's an extra comma you need at the end there, or an apostrophe, I'm sorry.
Just at the end.
Yep, right after the 0 there. It's because the lightning, it's enclosed in apostrophe at the beginning of that parameter, so we just need one apostrophe. Oh, dude, it's like putting double apostrophes. It's like backslashing everything for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
hit Control C and then like go to a new, yeah, perfect. And then try doing like maybe Shift Command V, like to paste it without crap.
Yeah, let's see.
I think that worked, but it.
Yeah, let me get the whole thing again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the like paste unformatted is what you need.
Yeah.
I think some of like the Google Drive formatting is probably messing with it.
If not, we could just go manual here. So Shift Command B.
I don't understand why it's doing just like a truncated one.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. All right, let's. I think I can quickly just type this out, and it might just be good anyway.
Yeah, that works.
So, all right, so the first one's an amount, and that's equal to any amount really. Zero.
Yeah, for testing any purposes or any amount.
Okay, cool. So we have an amount, and then we want a name. We can just say.
Just put those in apostrophes just to be safe.
Yeah. And single quotes are fine, or
single quotes are fine.
Yeah, single sign. Next one is description. We can just say 21 URIs. Next one is
for the purposes of this demo, maybe you'll remove that extra apostrophe and just to not confuse it.
Oh yeah. Good shot. Cool. And then you actually need a Bitcoin address.
And I'll apostrophe this to be safe.
Yeah, and I'll just paste hopefully this doesn't mess up the format. Okay. Just that is what I want. Okay, so we have a Bitcoin address as well. Cool. And then last but not least is the lightning portion, which is just ln equal to, and paste the lightning invoice as well.
Should end in 0x0.
Okay, that looks good.
Hey, it worked. So what it's done here in the console is it, the little pointy emoji, it spit out a BIP21 URI. So that should be a valid BIP21 URI that you could copy and paste in any application. And then also, if you run ls, you should see a qr.png sitting in your directory now. So it's got a little thingamajigger that will look at, will turn into. So if you want to like see, oh cool, you're gonna open it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should I just so can I just open it and just review it? Okay, cool. So that's like the QR representation of this long BIP21 URI. Cool.
Maybe I said we weren't doing VS Code, but maybe if you just want to open index.js and look at it.
Sure. Index.js. Okay.
So I'm relying on this library called BIP21. You can just run npm install BIP21, and it's by the people who do Bitcoin JS. So if you're using something like React Native or something to build your Bitcoin wallet, this seems like this would be a perfectly good go-to library to start from. And you basically see, I think it's on line 19 where it says constant URI. So you can BIP21.encode arguments BTC. So all I'm doing is that I'm just passing in my values from the command line. But the BIP21 encode method is very simple. It's got two things. The first parameter for that method is you put your on-chain address. The second parameter is you could put like a JSON object that includes any additional parameters you want. And so you can see in the lines above that, I'm just adding all the parameters I want, like the amount, the name, all of that. So if you got a JavaScript-based wallet, I would say probably look at the BIP21 library, and that's a fast track. If you're using, like Swift or something else, I'm sure, but it probably shouldn't be too terribly hard. But definitely just pay attention to the formatting of it, because sometimes with URI strings, with like spaces and all that kind of stuff, URI strings can get a little bit, crummy and broken. So, but that could be a good place to start.
Yeah, it looks really, really easy to use. Good stuff.
And then I can also share with you some kind of like UI flows and all that.
Sure.
I just to make your life easier, I'll paste this in the chat. Yeah, so I just posted a link to a Figma document there.
Okay. Let's see here.
So I think you're in. Awesome. So if I think on the left hand, that might be a good place to start. Recipient's phone. This is all just pulled from the Bitcoin UI kit, and I modified some stuff for these flows. So shout out Christoph and company.
Let's see if I can just show the link quickly. BitcoinUIKit.com. Awesome. Yeah, we did do an episode on this. I think it might have been the third or fourth episode. So if you're interested in like having some predefined components and UI flows to get you up and running with experimenting with different types of flows, then the Bitcoin UI kit is definitely a good tool. And I went through how to use it with Christoph a few weeks ago. So definitely head over to the YouTube channel and watch that back if you're interested.
All right. So yeah, that screen, I think that recipient's phone screen is something that I just, ripped, straight from the UI kit. It has a BIP21 URI in there, so it's pretty dense looking, but you can see it's simplified now. We no longer have a tab there that says on-chain or Lightning. So in our perfect world where everybody supports BIP21, the recipient's phone will generate this. And then you go over to the next screen. That's on the sender's phone. And you can see, the BIP21 QR code has been presented and they're scanning it, getting it lined up or whatever. And the next screen there, you just get this, ready to send, prompts you to make the payment. And you can see that it pulled in the amount of money, the name of the person, the message, all of that. And I think like one of the most common questions that I get about the BIP21 QR is like, what if Lightning wouldn't be best for this scenario? Like, what if
Hmm.
you,
Yeah.
what if like some people I think feel like, are you taking choice away from the user?
Yeah. And yeah, based on that argument could be based on the rare case where on-chain fees are cheaper than Lightning fees.
Exactly. Like, to touch on the choice aspect a little bit, like you kind of have a lot of situations where the user already doesn't have any choice. That's a good thing
Yeah.
to get out of the way first. Is that like,
Yeah.
if let's say the recipient, or like the sender only has like the recipient can support both of them, so they make this
Hmm.
BIP21 URI, but the sender is an on-chain wallet. So at that
Hmm.
point, there is no choice because the user is using an on-chain, the sender is using an on-chain wallet, so they have no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
And then the other situation is, what if they're using a Lightning only wallet? Well, in that
Hmm.
situation, they don't have a choice.
Hmm.
The choice aspect only really comes into play where you have a wallet that is both Lightning and on-chain. Now, I'll go ahead and
Hmm.
say, there are some people in Bitcoin who might feel strongly about this, and that's totally okay, because like the example I bring up when talking about this usually is like Zeus. I consider that kind of a like, that's for full node operators. It's for people.
Yeah.
It's for people who really want to get into the weeds with Bitcoin and Lightning, and
Yeah.
take on their own self sovereignty and all that. Totally. Maybe for that kind of user, presenting them with a choice is the better option. It's really going to depend on the use case. But for a while, it's like, maybe, for instance, like Cash App or Strike or something like that, that's just trying to help people make payments really easy and quickly. You maybe don't want to give them the choice. But what I've mocked up here is like, okay, you got the ready to send there. Probably like 99% of the time, just defaulting to Lightning is probably going to be in the user's best interest. The
Yeah.
payment's going to be settled instantly. It's going to be very low fees. Good to go. But there might be these situations like you just brought up where, like, what if there's not enough liquidity on whatever route on Lightning, and it's the mempool just happens to be clear, and they're
Mm.
actually going to have lower fees on Lightning. So I mocked up this screen here that's like, it prompts them with a choice. Like, let's say maybe they hit the send button, and then it comes up with this message like, hey, you could save on fees. For this payment, we can help you save on fees, but it's going to take longer for the payment to confirm, about 10 minutes to an hour. How would you like to proceed? And then you give a
Mm.
user a choice: save 100 sats on fees, but wait, or send immediately, or learn more. So the idea is that, like,
Nice.
I'm trying to present this. I'm not trying to use the word on-chain and Lightning. I'm trying to
Yeah.
present this to the user in terms of what their needs are, what their values are.
Mm.
Right now, they
Mm.
want to know, I'm sending the money. How much is it going to cost me to send the money? How long is
Hmm.
it going to take? And I'm just giving them a choice. So they can
Yeah.
either save or they can do it now. And,
Hmm.
for someone who maybe really wants to dig in, if you really want to get crazy with it, you could put, some deeper explanation on learn more.
Hmm.
But for most people, they might just want to make that decision. If
Yeah.
they're, like I said, they're buying lunch or something like that, then they probably want to do the instant thing. But maybe if
Hmm.
they're doing a big payment like a car or something like that, title transfer, all that kind of stuff, maybe they don't mind doing the wait, because they're just gonna it's good, the transaction is going to take a long time to take anyways. And then another thing you could do is you could say, uh, maybe there's a situation where Lightning is just impossible. Like I said, just the payment is too large. There's not enough
Hmm.
liquidity. So you could say, oh, well, the payment will take, like you're saying at this point, there is no way we can do it over Lightning. So you're just
Mm.
saying, hey, this payment's going to take longer due to the large size of this payment. We can't do instant payments. Sorry about that. This payment's
Yeah.
going to take about an hour. Are you sure you want to proceed? And then they could say, okay, I want to send it, or okay, I want to cancel it. So
Yeah. That last one's definitely interesting as well because, yeah, depending on how a user perceives like the how instant the transaction is, it's like if it is the coffee, well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess this scenario would primarily only happen for larger payments, right? Like you're unlikely to see it in, like, if you're going to pay for a coffee and it's only a
exactly.
couple of dollars, like you're very, very unlikely to see um like errors related to liquidity and stuff. So
Agreed.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, and that's the great thing about it is like Lightning grows and there's more liquidity, and especially as like merchants and things like that. Like in El
Yeah.
Salvador, a lot of them are using either Chivo, OpenNode, or IBEX Mercado, and those are companies with well-connected nodes and a lot of
Yeah.
liquidity. So you're probably not going to run into a whole ton of liquidity issues there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these just kind of daily spending payments are going to just default to Lightning. And I think that's going to be
Yeah.
in the best interest of the user. And for the rare situation where there isn't enough liquidity, you can default or you can fall back to on-chain and just present them with an error message. That would be my opinion. Just present them with an error message that expresses what's happening in terms of what they value.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you'll have to write this copy for like whatever company, whatever project you are. You got to know your users. I don't know your users. You have to know your users when you're doing a project, and you have to figure out what kind of messaging is going to be best for them.
Yeah. And just in and of itself, like it's just so much more slick, at least in my opinion, than like having just the two tabs in and of itself is just like super confusing, and like it just streamlines everything so much. So hopefully we can start seeing more wallets adopt it and take this approach. So yeah, really cool, very cool. Okay. So we've gone through a lot. We've gone through quite a lot today. It's really good. So yeah, just to recap, we had a look at the initiative you set up with BitcoinQR.dev. We tested a wallet using my iPhone 11. We submitted an issue to say that we have tested it. We created a pull request to update the site ourselves, but that's not necessarily. It might not be necessary if you don't want to do that. You just open the issue and perhaps someone can work with you to do it, to integrate into the site. We merged it, we upgraded the site. Or we can actually check back and see if it's actually loaded now. Let's see if it's Netlify done its thing and has uploaded it, updated the site. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So the pull request I created earlier that was merged by the boss has made its way to the site. So that's
now
very
I need to
cool.
go merge some of Pav's PRs.
Yeah, sick. And then we looked at what implementing an actual BIP21 URI code QR code might look like, just from a design and UX perspective. So yeah, that was good. I think that's definitely going to give the viewers a lot to think about, and hopefully like wallet teams, open source wallets that maybe might are very much already aware of this, because I know that the guys at Moon, for example, proposed this quite a while ago, and hopefully this will give perhaps some impetus to reintroduce that work, as they were already thinking along those lines anyway. So it'd be great to see, really. So cool. Did you have anything else for us to dive into, or was that pretty much the?
I think that's all I got for you today.
Awesome. All right, so we've finished definitely on time. We've got a few in the chat. I don't know if anyone who's still hanging around with us has any questions. I suspect the majority of builders are hacking away at the Shock the Web stuff. So we'll have
they should be.
As they should be. And I'll definitely be trying to catch up after this stream and see what's going on over there. So that's all good stuff. All right, cool. So we can probably finish a little earlier than usual today. Did you have any like final thoughts for the viewers? How can people well, I guess we've shown how people can get involved, but any additional advice or anything?
I mean, I guess I could just say very generally to hope if you look at our material, see what you think of the project. If you have criticisms of it, would love to hear well thought out critical feedback. And if you like the idea, then yeah, test it. Talk to projects that you're involved with about it and all of that. And just more generally, if you're kind of coming into this space new, I just, general reminder to not be afraid to get involved in open source Bitcoin. A lot of these communities are
That's a big point,
very friendly, and you just got to get over that hump of just, submitting your first issue or, making your first commit, even if it's a typo or something like that. But just, encourage everybody to get involved in open source Bitcoin stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Since we still got a little bit of time, just a bit more random, like what are you most bullish about in terms of like a builder's perspective and things that are being built this year? What is there anything that excites you quite a
So
bit?
I'm excited to see a lot more stuff being built on LDK. And
Nice.
I would say here's what I'm really looking forward toward. I mean, I think probably the thing I'm the most excited about is probably the Shock the Web Hackathon right now.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I just we need this is a problem that you and I've talked about before. As people that I talk about this with people in my community in Atlanta too. That we just don't have enough good like beginner friendly resources to get involved and like Bitcoin Core, like take that mad respect for everybody who's touched Bitcoin Core's code base. Not everybody, like we need the best of the best, like cryptographers, mathematicians, engineers working on that project, right? But there's this whole other side to it where you have, you just need people building companies, services, websites, things that integrate with Bitcoin. And not all of those people need to be like Bitcoin Core developers. Like we need people coming into this space that are really excited about building things that integrate with Bitcoin and with Lightning. And so we just, I think that we need to do just a better job as a community of making sure that we're onboarding new people, and we need a better, I think, developer tooling for these new people. The idea is that you want, like, when you want to send somebody through a code boot camp, you can teach them something like npx create React app, and then they've got like a little React app and they can get up and running. There's all these like boilerplates and stuff like that. And I want to see more of that happening in Bitcoin. And I think that the Shock the Web Hackathon is a good first stab at that, where they're really trying to get these people up there and say like, hey, this is how you use LN bits. This is how you use the 70 API. So they're trying to put this tooling in front of new builders. And I want to see more of that kind of stuff. I think it would be totally dope if we had an LDK boilerplate. Like I know you have like the getting started sample, but I want to see like a boilerplate for new developers to come in and start, they can run npm install LDK boilerplate, and they've got like a basic app going and they can customize it. I'm not saying it's ready to ship in production yet. I'm just saying they would have something that they can start messing around with. So
no, it's good. I'm actually working on something of a similar nature, like, well, at least on Kotlin anyway, to start with, Kotlin on Android, because I want to unblock some of the development on mobile, because there's still a bit of a barrier there in terms of getting up and running quickly, like with these quick start type of samples, like you say. All right.
Since I'm a designer, I want to see more designers get involved in that too. Obviously, we got the Bitcoin UI kit, and so it's like I want to see, again, more designers getting involved with these people building. I want to see people building with really good boilerplates, and then taking stuff like the Bitcoin UI kit and remixing all of that kind of stuff into new experiences that onboard more people to Bitcoin.
Fantastic stuff. All right, cool, man. Well, I always enjoy hanging out with you. Specifically enjoyed that today. That was really cool. It's a really important piece of user experience that we're hoping to push forward, and seems to have a good amount of championing behind it already. So like everyone just keep a close eye on it. Follow Stephen on Twitter, follow the initiative, come and hang out in Slack, some of the stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. I'm hoping to do a stream around your first mobile app on Android with LDK. So watch out for that one. And if you haven't already, like if you're watching this live, thanks for being here. If you're watching this on a playback, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, share and like. And the only number going up I care about is the number of builders on Bitcoin. So if you want to talk numbers, those are the only numbers I'm interested in. So all right, Stephen, thanks again, and yeah, we'll catch up soon, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Peace.